Shall receive. Let's go
Oh, there it
live.
is. I
We're
got
live
one.
now. Hi, Dr. Kiltz. He's ready for
Okay.
surgery.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
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 Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Beautiful
Good
day in
morning,
paradise.
everyone.
That
It's
it
the
is.
11th of November,
What is that?
2025.
Of course, it's Christmas cookies.
It's chocolate chip cookies by Marnie. These are absolutely the very best cookies created in the universe. Next to my mother's. And they sit nicely on my desk as a gift.
I mean, it looks like nice decorations.
And they're there because I asked Marnie to make them for me. I didn't say I'd eat them. It's all a gift, all a gift, all a gift.
So let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching. I am in Central Florida at 35 degrees outside.
Oh, wow.
And very cold inside as well.
Oh, wow. Is that normal?
Not for November, probably.
Okay.
What I've found about Florida, since I moved down there, it's gotten colder and colder and colder.
You brought the cold.
I got to go further south. I got to go to Cuba.
Yeah, I think that's true for the whole planet right now. Everybody's getting colder.
Yes. It's our mass manipulation of the environment, but it's also part of nature just doing its thing that it's kind of been doing for the last billions and billions of years. I don't know, 4 billion years or something.
It's cyclical. You know, we're trying to take the blame for a lot of things that are absolutely cyclical.
Absolutely. It's just part of, as you said, human life, the nature of life. The nature of life. Absolutely. I've been listening to some gal this morning. Newman. Oh, now I got to find where it is. Diane Newman from Caltech. About the microorganisms. And I think I've been incorrectly commenting about the microbes, but basically they control the universe, our universe.
Right. It's funny that you say that. I was watching, I don't remember who it was, but I was watching a podcast. They had a gentleman on that was heavy into the environment as far as solving issues and whatever. And he almost, and I'm by no means educated on the topic. I'm just going to regurgitate what he said. He was saying that we're so focused on carbon monoxide and what the cars are producing and everything. But if we get the carbon monoxide down below, I think it was 150, everything on Earth dies. The plants die. And because the plants die, the humans don't have oxygen. So the humans die. Everything just disappears. You know, we're lucky. We sit at about 400 change, he said, at this point. But we're really focusing on the wrong. You know, I'm just taking the word of somebody who's far more educated than I am on the topic. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm always looking for educated people because I'm not. I'm a little dumb, I say, but I think that we're just here sharing stories. By the way, we're storytellers, and science is just another story. How true is it? I don't know.
Right. Every time we think we got something figured out, we discover something that completely blows the top off it.
Yeah, and you know, like, okay, so eating a cookie will kill me. Really? Even touching it and holding it. Marnie gave these to me. She like, I said, oh, I need a cookie. I need a Marnie cookie.
Right.
But just having it. What are we talking about today, Dr. Nelson?
I don't know.
We're talking with Eben about his story.
We're talking to Eben, and we'll have him introduce himself in a little bit. But please put your questions in the chat, and hashtag KMT for what's the giveaway?
A t-shirt.
Okay.
Are you going to be? Where are you at in this world, Eben?
I'm in I live in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Oh, all right. So you're not far from where, I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Okay, you're a couple hours away.
Yeah, close by.
Yeah.
And are you going to be in Tampa at the Hack Your Health? Did you go to these yet, or?
No, I haven't yet. I was just I was just explaining before we went live. That would take a little more planning than I wasn't aware of it, unfortunately. But with my job, I need a little more time for planning. So I would love to start doing things like that. One of the humps I'd have to get over is I'm kind of terrified of flying.
Oh,
I think that would be. I just had a discussion the other day. This is something I'm going to have to put on my big boy pants for, because I'm missing out on a lot of life experiences because I refuse to get on a plane. So
do you think it might be actually safer than riding the subway in New York?
in in respect of maintaining my employment, I'm going to say I feel the subway is perfectly safe.
I will not ride the subways. I'm afraid of the subways. The
Really?
only time I've ridden a subway is my daughter said, "Come on, Dad." She basically grabbed my arm and she got me in it, but I'm afraid of subways.
Well, to me, the most, all kidding aside, the most dangerous part of the subway is not the working part of the system. It's the human element. It's for $3 anybody can enter. And that's ultimately what happens. It's a warm place to stay in the wintertime. It's in some situations it's a cooler place in the summertime. You're out of the element, so people who don't necessarily have a home or don't have mental stability or have potentially a drug problem find themselves hiding there for respite, for lack of better words.
Well, any other organism will go down there too, right? The rats and mice, and I mean, are we any different than any other organism looking for shelter?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Eben, and how you kind of got to this crazy carnivore world.
It's funny that you called it crazy, because I kind of got into it with the idea that I was going to blow the lid off this thing, because I thought it was insane. It was counterintuitive to everything I was ever taught. I'll give you the short story first. We can get into the deeper details later, but the short story is I was very, very sick, still functioning, but just by the hanging on by my fingernails. My blood pressure and my heart rate and some spooky things because of family history started to happen in my health. I had come across, years earlier, I'd come across a Joe Rogan podcast with, now I'm not going to remember his name, Jordan Peterson. And he spoke on his experience with carnivore. And I thought he was, I thought he was insane, but at the same time, I know the guy's very intelligent. And the way he presented it was that he's not speaking as a health professional or a dietitian. He's just a uninformed citizen, and this is what I'm doing for myself. But it sounded miraculous. He only ate red meat. And he spoke that he lost 7 pounds the first month, 7 pounds the second month, 7 pounds the third month. His so he had some psychological issues that kind of fade away, as far as depression, stuff like that. He started overall feeling better. All these great things happened for him. And again, I'm a common sense person. So if things make sense, you can if I feel like there's common sense in it, you can get me to try something. You know what I mean? But years went by, and I was coming to my wit's end as far as my health. Things were starting to scare me, and I ended up on a video call with my brother. And he came on. My brother always stayed fit, but for whatever reason, this particular time, he looked incredible. I can't put my finger on what it was, but I immediately jumped to. I was like, dude, are you going to the gym? Are you working out? What are you doing different? You look incredible. Like he's 10 years older than me. He's always looked younger than me, because I was always, into my 20s. I got overweight and in my 30s, I got diabetes, and there's a whole string of things. So I always appeared old because I was weathered. But like I said, he just looked incredible. And when I questioned him, he's like, I haven't been to the gym in almost a year. He said, I started this carnivore thing. He goes, I feel good. And he's like, I meant to talk to you about it. You should try it. He's my whole life, he's always been trying to push me towards taking better care of myself. And that was the deciding factor for me. Jordan Peterson made sense to me, but now I had somebody who I could kind of try to break down and figure out the ins and outs of it. So again, it takes me a little while. I had to let my head sink into the idea. And I walked into a supermarket one day, and I remember it like it happened yesterday. My girlfriend was looking at Pepperidge Farms cookies, and I'm staring at the cookies. My blood sugar is at this point probably well over 300. And I'm like, I can't look at these cookies anymore. And one, I want to dive into the display of cookies and eat them all. And two, I know my health is falling apart. And I've been talking to my girlfriend on and off about this carnivore diet. I said, you know what? I can't. I'm going to try to watch my language. In the real situation, I was cursing. I said, I'm going to get away from these effing cookies. I'm going to go look at the steaks. I said, I can't look at these anymore. And I went and bought, which apparently was the wrong steaks. I bought like the leanest, skinniest little cheap. If you can imagine 6 steaks for $10 or $12, what they must look like. They were like borderline steakums. If you guys remember what those are. But I bought that, and thank God I had the presence of mind to buy a roast beef in case I needed a snack. And that's how I got started. And like I said, I don't want to kill the whole story in my opening, but it's been a wild ride, and I got so much more out of it than I ever expected.
How young are you?
I just turned 50, September 24th.
Awesome. And what type of work do you do?
I am a track worker. I repair and maintain the tracks for the New York City subway system.
Love you. And what do your colleagues, coworkers think of what you're doing, or family members?
At this point, I'm at it almost 2 years. I started on April 17th. At this point, everybody just understands that I do steak, chopped meat, all red meat. Everybody just kind of understands that, but we go by last name. So like, yeah, Marshall's having a steak. You know what I mean? And as of late, I'm eating once a day, so they never see me eat. I work the third shift. I work from 10 o'clock till 6 a.m. So I eat at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm sustained the last few months. I'm sustained till 1 o'clock the following day. So now the guys who know me for years now are like, Marshall used to come in with a giant bag of food and be eating, anytime we had downtime, you'd be eating. And now we never see you eat, But the biggest thing they talk about is my transformation, What's
the number one transformation you could tell everyone, like, wow?
Well, looking at me was the weight loss. But I'll be honest with you, at my heaviest before carnivore was 275 pounds. When I started carnivore, because my blood sugar was so out of control, the diabetes, I started to kind of fade away. I was starting to lose weight without changing my eating habits. When I started carnivore, I was like 260. So looking at me, that's the big, like if anybody else would say, oh, he lost, 75 pounds, because I sit at about 200 pounds right now. And I'm about 5'8". For me personally, I got my whole life back.
Yeah.
I was in crippling pain. I have a laundry list of symptoms here if you want me to go through it, but
yes, please.
Okay. I had I probably still have it, but I can't feel it, so I'm going to say I don't have it. I had arthritis in my feet that was diagnosed through an X-ray or an MRI. I'm not sure which. I had not like lumps in my calves, like knots. When I would come home from work, my girlfriend, God bless her, I would have between 15 and 30 knots in each calf that she would have to rub massage out. It would take an hour or 2 hours for her to massage them all out so I could function. typical knee pain from, well, what I thought was typical knee pain from being, I was 47 at the time. I figured 47 years old, things just start to hurt. Constant muscle soreness. I had crippling back pain. To go to work, I would take 1,800 milligrams of ibuprofen twice a day just so I could function through the day.
Wow.
And if I did this motion, which the tools in my job are different than tools in most jobs. Our wrenches are 5 feet tall. And when you use them, you move your whole body, because you need a lot of torque to make them tight for the trains to roll through them. So this is something you're doing every day. And if I made that movement, I would get a shooting. Let me adjust my camera for a second. I would get a shooting pain that would wrap around my chest. I guess it was a nerve pain. I don't really know. But it would stop me dead in my tracks. And I couldn't move for a couple of minutes. And if I did that same move again, no matter how many times I did it, I would get that shooting pain. And like I said, the pain itself was crippling. I couldn't play football. My son was big into football. I couldn't throw the football around with him. If I got to throw it 3 or 4 times, I'd have to make an excuse to get out of the game because I was in so much pain. My movement was extremely limited. I had severe headaches, along with rubbing my calves. My girlfriend, when I would come home from work, would rub my head. Almost, if I was awake, she was rubbing my head the entire time. Tendonitis in my elbows. My energy level was horrible. I would basically come home from work. I would get home like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would sleep, with the exception of getting up to eat and going right back to sleep. I would sleep all day long till it was time to go back to work. And food shopping with me was a nightmare. Because I had no energy and my eating habits are horrible, so I was constantly hungry. It was like a test of strength for my girlfriend to listen to me complaining and, just, can we get out of here? Are we done yet? If she, God forbid, she added anything onto the list, I was like a furious animal. You know what I mean? How has this beautiful woman stayed with me through all this? I have no idea. But it was that's all I have listed. There was more. Oh, and the worst. About 4 years ago, I developed. I'm gonna try to use the medical terminology for the body part. I hope it's not too graphic, but I woke up on a Monday morning. No, it's longer than that. It was almost 8 years ago. I just started my job, and I was on probation. And I had taken a shower, and while I was washing, I found a boil on my scrotum. So that's my initial thought was cancer. So my stomach flips, I get sick. I was in a different relationship at the time. I called my girlfriend in to take a look at it to see if it was what I thought it was, and she told me no, it's a boil. Which stupidly it like relieved me. I was like, oh, okay. I know people with boils, no big deal. And my job has a year-long probationary period, and it's you can take sick time, but it can extend your probation. There's things that you have to do a full year, and I never wanted my sick time to get my probation to be extended, so I ignored it. I went to work. That was Monday. Wednesday night, I felt horrible. Just overall sick, almost like flu-like. By Friday, I'm walking out to a job site with one of my coworkers, and I said to him, "Do me a favor." He said, "What's that?" I said, "Just keep an eye on me today. Whatever's going on, just watch me." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to function the entire night. I need to know that somebody's watching in case I start to go down." I left work at 6 o'clock Saturday morning. I have about an hour and a half drive home. When I was driving, um, I don't remember. I remember punching out. I don't remember the walk to the car. I don't remember the drive home. I don't remember walking into my house. The first thing I remember now, I usually get home, like I said, 7:30. The first thing I remember, 7:30 in the morning, by the way. The first thing I remember is waking up at 7 o'clock at night because my girlfriend was shaking me violently. My girlfriend at the time saying, "If you don't get up and go to the hospital with me right now, I'm calling the ambulance because I've been trying to wake you up since 3 o'clock this afternoon." So I stumbled to my feet and I went to the hospital. That's a much longer story. I don't know if you want me to tell that part now, but that's the gist of the health issues I had.
How are you feeling today?
I don't have a single health issue. Now keep in mind, I was diabetic. My A1C at points was 14, which I think they wanted below 6, if I'm not mistaken. So my blood sugar sat between 300, and the highest I've ever seen it was 475, which is your body's at that point deteriorating. Your immune system isn't taking care of you. You're just anything that approaches your body is going to affect your body, illness wise, infection, all those things are going to come to play. My diabetes is gone. I have
What's your
none of the
A1C now?
I'm sorry.
What's your most recent A1C?
My most trying to remember. It was it was just above 6. It was just above 6. I think it was like 6.2, which technically is pre-diabetic. But here's my opinion on pre-diabetes.
Well, it's much
That's
better
not
than
diabetes.
14 plus.
What?
I think it's much better than 14 plus.
Yes. And 12 to 14 was kind of where I sat. And pre-diabetes to me is kind of a confab to spook you into taking better care of yourself. That doesn't mean you have diabetes. You know what I mean? It means that your blood sugar is not perfect yet. But I haven't done my A1C. I did it probably at the 6-month mark, and I haven't done it since. Because I don't need to. I know how my body feels. I check my blood sugar from time to time. My blood sugar comes back perfect. I don't. For people who are diabetic, when your blood sugar goes weird, it almost feels like anxiety. You get like a hollow feeling in your chest. If it's severe enough, you can't think straight. You get confused. Those are symptoms I felt on a regular basis. I haven't had a food related reaction to anything since pretty much the 3rd or 4th week I started this diet. Did you want to say something? I don't know if you're raising your hand.
Yeah. How many of your family members or colleagues also have been suffering, do you think, from pre-diabetes, diabetes, or how many of them do you think are on a weight loss drug or a diet to lose weight or some other diabetic drug?
My oldest brother, he did it a different way. You have to understand, my oldest brother is not one to share all his personal details. He's kind of cagey on that end. Not cagey, but you know what I mean. He keeps his personal stuff close to his vest. But he just was last year or so. He was diagnosed diabetic, and he wasn't obese, but he was bulky. He always had a bigger frame, and we just thought that was how he's built. But apparently, the doctors have been warning him for a while to reduce his carbohydrates. He doesn't buy into what I'm doing, so he's doing his own version of a weight loss program, and he's lost the weight. And as far as I know, his blood sugar is under control. But I think they still have him on medication, which I'm not in love with. But we've been kind of led down this path that medication is the only answer. And because he's my older brother. If you guys are younger, have older siblings, you understand. Only so much of what I say is going to penetrate to my big brother. You know what I mean? My father had some bad habits. He smoked. He wasn't a heavy drinker, but he drank he would have a couple beers a day. He never really exercised. He ultimately died of a heart condition. My mother was diabetic. My sister is diabetic, and my great aunt was. I barely knew her. I was 4 or 5 when she passed away, but I remember that she was blind because of diabetes. So, and when I think about carnivore, and though my mother's not around anymore, my sister's having severe health issues now. She was in the hospital for about a year up until 2 months ago. So And of course, I can't. You try to talk to people and they turn a deaf ear to you. But had carnivore been around when I was a young man, or my parents were still alive, or before my sister got on the path that she's on, and my great aunt, obviously, not my great aunt. She was in her 80s and 90s when she passed, but a lot of these people might. My father could still be here. His brother's a year or two younger than him. His brother's still playing with his grandchildren, living his best life. He exercised and did moderate things that everybody believes is healthy. If my father had found carnivore, God knows how long. And everybody on his side of the family, the Marshall side of my family, had longevity. My grandmother lived to be 96. My great uncles lived to be in their 90s. It's kind of a sad story if you think about it, how much he missed out on. He passed away when I was 24. He never met my son. He never met. I got married and ultimately divorced, but he never met my wife. Well, he met my wife, but he didn't get to see me get married. He didn't get to see me have children. He didn't. My son is just like him. My son is eerily like him, and he would have got a huge kick out of that.
Yeah.
But it's I wish there was more spoke of this, because it was known. It just wasn't promoted. They knew that fatty red meats, and they knew these things, and the studies, the false studies, kind of swayed the public. The lie that everybody bought. We need to eat seed oils. We need to lower our cholesterol. All these things. My father didn't listen to a lot of them, but he didn't stop smoking and eating whatever he wanted. He put mayonnaise on everything, and the path that people think is the right way to go. Unfortunately, I kind of went on a long rant there, but
well, this is why we're here, to share stories, because ultimately the documented stories are the reason we're all making the changes in the world. I just Googled what percentage of Americans are on prescription drugs. 65 to 70%. Then the question is, what percentage of people are metabolically unhealthy? Dr. Nelson, isn't it like 70 to 85%?
No, it's higher.
Oh, what is the number?
You pulled a fast one on us there. I thought you were going a different direction.
Some studies show 88%. Some other studies show 93%. So, average that 90% at least are not metabolically healthy.
The funny thing about that, right before maybe a few months before I started carnivore, I stumbled across a video. They were talking about morbidities, like the 5 morbidities. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder if I have any of them. Yeah, I had all 5 of them. I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were like, if you have more than 3 of these, you're in extreme danger of losing your life. And I was like, oh, that's great. I hit the trifecta and +2.
And children are taking around 25 to 43%, according to my AI overview on the internet. And ultimately, so what is your purpose today? Why are you doing this, Marshall? Why are you online sharing your embarrassing story?
I want to inspire people to make a change. I say it on my YouTube channel all the time. For you, it may not be carnivore. If your biggest issue is you need to lose 40 pounds, carnivore is extreme for just a weight loss diet. You know what I mean? And it's not really for weight loss. It's for me. This may not be the popular opinion, but I started carnivore because I had very little time left. I say this to my girlfriend. I say this to my friends. I reached 50 years old. That wasn't guaranteed, So I do it to show people the path, that I took. If they don't have any ideas on how to get healthy, if they don't have a plan, if they don't know anything else, this plan, although initially difficult, becomes very simple. But my big message is make smarter decisions. Look into what makes sense for you. Find exercise where use exercise where you find it. It doesn't have to be go to the gym. It could be walk to the mailbox. Not everybody can run on a treadmill. Not everybody can walk 3 miles. Some people, just to get off the couch is a struggle. If that's you, get off the couch and then sit back down. Do that 5 times a day until you can get off the couch and walk 5 feet. I don't want to walk into a supermarket and see, you know, tens of people that I feel bad for that can barely push the shopper cart. They need the mobile scooter for aches and pains and sickness, and it hurts me.
We need to be the example to show the way, and that's where social media is critical. And your story to your brothers and sisters around the globe, how a carnivore lifestyle freaking changed your life. Yeah. And you see the way that is so important. Dr. Nelson, are there a couple of cues you want to get to?
Oh, there's a bunch of questions. Yeah.
Let's get to them. The first one is Dr. Kiltz. Dr. Kiltz, is the Kiltz Cup and jewelry sold out?
What?
I guess I can look into it. All right, someone's asking if Kiltz.
Oh, well then we gotta get over there. Make sure we have more Kiltz cups. That's a Malcolm thing, and I still have some of my. I haven't been wearing lately. I gotta find it. Do I have my box? Oh, I think I got it. I even have some more of the. Maybe I'll bring these to the.
Hack Your Health.
Hack Your Health. I'll bring them to Hack Your Health.
Oh.
What is that?
It's a KMT. It's a symbol. It's.
Oh.
Maybe I'll bring. Oh, should I bring it?
Are you hunting whales?
Oh. Yes, human whales, but not to kill them, not to control them, but to gift them with the magic message that meat is the master meal for the lionesses and lions. We're called back to the lion's den.
That's actually the name of my YouTube channel, Lion's Den 4170.
Yeah, we're called back to the lion's den to share a story and an idea that we can heal our brothers and sisters. And
this is his channel. Go to his channel, Lion's Den 4170, on YouTube, and subscribe.
Who controls the lion's den, by the way?
Say again?
Who controls the lion's den?
What do you mean, as far as my channel?
The lionesses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's true in my home as well.
Yep.
That's very true.
Fed and made love to, and then go shopping.
But for the people who are interested in checking out my YouTube channel, it's not sexy. It's not clickbaity. I don't use any type of what you see is one take. I have an idea and I start talking where the talking leads me. When I start talking, I don't know where it's going to end. Some of it's about my exercise, some of it's about my diet, some of it's just my day-to-day life, living carnivore. I do it. Would I love for my channel to take off someday? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I do it for somewhere to kind of just let it out and discuss what's on my mind.
It's already taken off.
Thank you.
It's already taken off.
By the way, Dr. Kiltz, in my house, I'm the king, and I was authorized to say that.
Yeah. Do you run the show when my girlfriend's not around?
Do you have any daily readings or spiritual or books or ideas that you also focus on every day to build your life in a better way?
I not so much. My belief system is different than most. I do believe in a higher power. I'm not 100% sure what that higher power is, but I try to live my life in a way that is not disrespectful or hurtful to anybody, especially the higher power. But I base a lot. I'm a strong believer in karma. I really, and I've seen it happen 100,000 times. If you put good out there, I'm fortunate now. I have a great job. Things financially, I'm kind of stable. But before I got this job, that wasn't really the case, and I went through a lot of struggles and obviously a lot of health issues. And when I was at the borderline of losing everything, inevitably, whether it was a brother, a friend, a stranger, something would come out of the woodwork and just kind of save me in the moment from becoming the worst version of myself. Whether it was homeless or like my brother, for example. When I was at my wit's end and didn't really know which direction to go, I hadn't spoke to me and my brother had a personal issue. We didn't speak for a year or two. The conversation about carnivore was literally our first conversation. So, we didn't speak for 2 years, and we're talking about what he's eating. Like it doesn't track. He had a newborn son. That the conversation should have probably went that direction, or what his life has been like last 2 years. Why we stopped talking about no. It immediately went to a carnivore, and that ultimately saved my life. I say this, and I'll say it probably 100 times during this live cast. I don't think I had 6 more months left in me. I really don't. My heart rate was ridiculous. My blood pressure was ridiculous. My ability to function was severely lacking. I'm getting way off topic.
No, you're
But,
not.
Yeah,
You're not. I just want to interject one thing.
sure.
You do know the true God in life, and Dr. Nelson and I do too. Yes, dear.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Let's
Oh.
take a question, Alia.
Next question. All right, so let's see here. Is it really hereditary, or ate what your parents ate for 18 years and continue eating that way for many years?
I personally believe it's absolutely environmental.
Isn't that hereditary? In essence, our environment is passed on.
Yeah, we inherit the environment and the culture.
It's all inheritable. Again, how we live, it's all part of our DNA and genetics to listen to the environment we live in, and
Right.
and that's genetically predisposed.
Yeah, long before you have the ability to cook for yourself, you have 10, 12, 15, 18 years at the minimum of eating whatever your parents ate. And not to say that people's parents are poisoning them or doing something horrible. They're doing what they know. My father cooked. My father, with the exception of if we're on a road trip and we needed to eat and there was no place else to go, I didn't have McDonald's 5 times before I was 20 years old. It just wasn't available in my home.
My favorite meal of the universe is a Big Mac, fries, Coke, supersized.
Oh,
That is like, oh my God, heroin.
I was back. I used to walk 4 or 6 miles in my early 20s to a McDonald's so I could have a Big Mac, large fries, and a Coke, supersized.
The best thing that happened was Fountain Avenue, Sunset Boulevard. McDonald's opened up when I was at Thomas Starr King Junior High School, and we used to walk there, I don't know how many times a day, but basically we're in a heroin den. We're in a drug den, essentially.
Where was this? Was this where you live now?
No, I grew up in L.A.
Oh, okay, because there's a Fountain Avenue where I grew up in Queens. So I was just
kicked out of school in a gang, couldn't read, father in jail. That's my elevator speech.
Right.
I'm inspired by it every single day.
Yeah, my mother was in my early childhood until I was in my 20s. She was a 2-gallon of vodka drinker, abusive, borderline sociopathic. Like that moment where you have when you're a baby where your mother bonds with you. I never had that. So like her passing was weird because it was sad that she passed, but more because I never had that opportunity to really make that mother-son connection. You know what I mean? So when I tell people, look, you don't have to like where I am, but you don't necessarily know where I came from.
We all came from the same source.
Right.
It's called God.
Yeah.
We are the gods of the universe. And we are the warriors of the universe, and we are the lionesses and lions. And what we're doing is saying, eat the meat.
Yeah.
And be the master.
Next question.
To all of you, who has inspired you the most, and were you able to let them know they were a positive influence in your life? Brian Ari258 asks.
To me, the reason I became a doctor was my brother, who yesterday was 60 years since his passing. He was 8. I was not. I was 5, and
So
inspired me to
sorry.
be a doctor.
What's your brother's name?
Richard.
Okay, Richard. Just like Dave, just like my brothers Dave and Jim and Craig and Marianne and Mom and Dad, they're all right here with us right now. And this is the true beauty, because they're our army. They're our army that's supporting us as we lead in life to share this masterful story. That basically, that the energy and vibration of the universe is within all of us, and we've labeled that energy higher power and or God. And my inspiration is always going to be everyone and everything. But ultimately, this dude is like got a masterful story, JC.
Yeah. How about you, Eben?
Just my career that I'm in now, that I absolutely love, started at 42 years old. I had to take a test at like 37, and it took several years for them to call me. You go on a list. It's a civil service process in New York. That being said, my father was my best friend. My best friend, my mentor, and even in his shortcomings taught me something. And my father passed away when I was 24 years old. So understanding that took me till I was 42 to figure out my path. From 24 to 42, I had to kind of figure things out on my own, bouncing from job to job. Ultimately, I followed exactly the same career path my father was on, which was, oddly enough. But as much as he taught me in life, respect for women, respect for people, my work ethic, he guided me on the more knuckleheaded decisions that I made, and he always accepted me for where I was at when I was there. I never felt judged. But as much as he taught me when he was here, the way his life ended saved my life 25 or 30 years later, because he had a minor heart attack a year before he passed, and at that point they told him he had a year left. He said nothing. He ate that and just kept moving, and then had a massive heart attack 3 days after his birthday. He was actually buried on April Fool's Day, which is spooky all on its own. He had a massive heart attack, and then I had to figure it out. I didn't really have a great job. I didn't really have, we had the house he was living in, but me and my sister, nobody could afford it. So fast forward 25 or 30 years, I'm watching my, multiple emergency surgeries, my heart rate going through the roof, my blood pressure going through the roof, all these things happen. And I'm saying, my son's only 18 at the time, or 17. I'm going to leave him here. I'm gonna fall off this planet, and he's gonna have even less of his father to guide him than I had. And ultimately, between him and my father, that was unacceptable. And I like to say I jumped off the carnivore cliff, and I never looked back.
Our fathers are always here and with us. Think of the one guy, a story of a guy who actually is dead, but is more alive than anyone we know. And again, it's the human stories that we've told of struggles, of failure, of falling, that actually give us the most strength in life. And that's why having a story is so critical and amazing. Our fathers are ultimately part of that story.
Absolutely.
Alia, how about you?
Yeah. There was a little lady, and I say little because she was like just a couple inches past 4'5", and she taught me how to read and basically raised me. And so she was very influential in my life because my parents were working all the time. She's cute.
Angelina and Gelsomina, my grandmothers.
Aw.
They and our grandmothers. Remember, Mother Mary is the most silent and strongest woman you'll ever know. I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't believe you. But remember, how many people watch or read stories in order to fill their lives?
Right.
And that's what this is all about. And a lion's life is that of a sheep herder. He herded the sheep, but what he did was invited them back to the lion's den to be given the simple truth that they are lions. And we have that already.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
Stevie,
yeah, I'm sorry.
Stevie says, Evan, do you know Hitachi Rail? I don't know what he's referring to.
Say that one more time.
Hitachi Rail.
Hitachi Rail.
I'm not familiar.
It's there on the.
I
understand the
don't know
question
if
here.
I don't know if that's a name or a type of train equipment or something, but I'm not familiar, unfortunately. No.
All right.
Anthony Impala. Hey guys, love your work. I've started to introduce chicken liver in my diet. How much can I consume safely? Thanks in advance.
What was it that he included in his diet?
Chicken liver.
Chicken liver. I definitely can't answer this. I haven't eaten chicken in almost 2 years.
Chicken liver is amazing. The whole chicken is amazing. And with the skin, the organ meats, and all of it. But ultimately, who went chicken hunting? Nobody. Industrial production of food.
I feel like cows are much easier to catch.
And they were most easily they were domesticated,
Right.
and we're domesticated animals. How do you domesticate an animal?
You feed it.
Feed it plants.
Oh yeah.
You can't domesticate a lion or a tiger very easily, but you feed them too, and they will do tricks and things. But ultimately, they're more likely still to eat you.
Yeah, it's on their terms.
Yes.
It's on their terms. You know, you can't there's an old story, I think it's a turtle bringing a scorpion across the river, and he agrees to do it because the scorpion promises that he won't bite him. Halfway across, the scorpion bites him, and as they're going down, the turtle says to him, "Why did you do that? Now we're both going to drown." And the scorpion says, "Well, it's in my nature."
It's my nature. Yeah.
You know, you can't. What you are is what you are. To a certain degree, you can withstand it, but you can't beat it.
We never die. We only transfer our energy.
Right.
It's all built in the molecular structure of the universe. Death is not a true statement. It's only a transfer of energy to other frequencies and organisms. Because without the microbes, there's no plants. Without the plants, there's no animals. And it's actually circular. And without the sun, there's no life.
Right.
And all of it is just is basically light energy. We're just transferring photons, electron passages.
So Evan, Goret asks, why is this amazing woman still a girlfriend? Make her a wife already.
That's a question my girlfriend keeps asking me. No, we have and we both agree on this. I joke when I say that we have pretty much the perfect relationship. There's to me, marriage is always has been about raising children and having them share your names and a sense of unity in that form. Um, Me being 50 years old and nothing against people who decide to do this at my age and older, my brother did it. I have zero plans of having any children. I was married once and divorced. I don't want to say it left a bad taste in my mouth, but it's a lot harder to exit than it is to get into.
One
And
ex-wife is enough.
yeah, and here's the thing. If you looked at and this is a controversial thing to say, but I'm going to say it. If you looked at a marriage as a business, and you asked to sign the same contract in a business that you're asked to sign in a marriage, I don't think anybody would do it. It's just it's financially when it ends, it's a losing proposition, and it's not. It's an emotional, tragic battle that affects way too many people. My first marriage, my brother was involved, my children, my wife. It was a zoo, and I am trying to live a very peaceful, calm, happy existence. And I have no issue with being with my girlfriend for the rest of my life. I just don't want to have to do lawyers if for some reason one of us changes enough that we have to get out of the relationship.
Every transaction is a transaction, and lawyers are always required in a transaction.
Right. Except you can sign that contract without a lawyer. So,
but it's always it's between your lawyer and your accountant.
Right.
And everything in life is transactional. The sun gifts a plant a photon, which then borrows a little carbon dioxide, sunlight, and water, and builds a plant cell, along with the photosynthetic microbes, the cyanobacteria and others. It's just transactional.
Right.
And so recognize the transaction is the nature of the universe.
No, I agree with you completely. And I want to be very clear here. I firmly believe my girlfriend is the woman I was meant to be with. She understands me in ways that nobody else ever has. We get each other on a level that I didn't know was possible. And to my discredit, I fought going into a relationship with her tooth and nail. Because I had been, I met her at 46 years old. I had been in and out of enough relationships that I felt like it's just not worth the time and energy anymore. And she's changed all that for me. And if I was in the mindset to ever get married, she would absolutely be the one. But I just don't see the purpose of it at this point. We're going to be together forever. She is my last stop in the relationship journey. And we're both unbelievably happy with each other. I mean, I'm speaking for her at this point, but I'm fairly sure I can make that statement.
Julia asks, maybe I missed the answer. Is your girlfriend carnivore?
On and off. On and off. My girlfriend is lucky enough that she has zero health issues. She is about 5'3", and she fluctuates between like 125 and 135. She's a couple of years older than me. She's 52 years old. She has zero health issues, and she eats once a day anyway. And when she does eat, she doesn't eat a whole hell of a lot. So my opinion on her, although she eats things that I now consider horrendous, she still has a healthy relationship with food. So what she'll do is if she gets to the top end of her weight, like 135 or close to 140, she'll do carnivore for 3 weeks, knock the clock back to 120 or 115, and then she goes back to eating however she likes to eat. She's been on my YouTube channel, bits and pieces here and there. But like I said, I personally feel like there needs to be a very strong why to do carnivore. If your reasoning isn't, even if it's just weight loss, but if it means enough to you then carnivore will absolutely do wonders for you. But if you're just doing it for a whim, there's some ins and outs to carnivore that like the social aspect of carnivore. It's a little hard to go to a restaurant these days, and I don't eat seed oils. I don't eat any seasonings. I eat beef. I drink water, and I ask that they cook with butter and salt, or I ask them not to season it. And I season it when it gets to my table. But I've even had restaurants. I say that, and they say, "Well, you're going to have to check our website to see our policies on." Because I tell them I'm allergic. That's the only way I've been able to get around them cooking my food for me. So I go to a lot of restaurants and I eat before I go, and I sit and I watch everybody eat because it's not worth the trouble anymore. And I'm eating once a day, so it's the bigger problem isn't for me. The people around me, like, we feel bad. You're not eating. I'm like, well, I ate 3 pounds of beef today. I think I'm in good shape. Or I ate 2 pounds of beef, or whatever it is I had that day. So back to my initial thing, your why has to be pretty strong. Do I believe everybody should do carnivore? Absolutely. Do I think everybody will? No, it's just not realistic.
They are all carnivores. They all are lions and lionesses.
Right.
But we've been domesticated.
Yeah.
And when you live in a domesticated world, which is basically it's a prison.
Yeah. It's a cycle of you eat these foods that they say are healthy, you end up sick. They give you medication so you can keep eating the foods that you think are making you healthy that make you sicker, so they give you more medication. It's really, really, when I got diagnosed, when I told my doctor I was becoming carnivore, the look on her face was borderline terror. And I said, I understand. I said, trust me, I know I have the same nervous feeling. And I know there's going to be a couple of red flags. She said, a couple. She said, I have about 400 red flags. I said, I understand that. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you care. But I did it your way for 10 years. And I just got sick and more sick and more sick. So now I'm going to do it my way. And here I am a little over a year and a half later, and I'm healthier. I feel better. I'm more active. I'm more positive. There's no more hospital visits. I had 2 emergency surgeries. One of them landed me in CCU. I had 4 years gangrene, for God's sake.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Were you taking any diabetic medications at the time?
all kinds of them.
Were you on Jardians, Forxiga, Invocana, or any like that?
I was on metformin. I was on
No, the ones I mentioned, that's the only ones I want to know. Jardians, Forxiga, Invocana.
No. My mother was on Jardians before she passed away, but no, I wasn't.
Okay. Because those are highly related to Fournier's gangrene.
Really? The ones they had me on was Ozempic. They put me on Ozempic before I knew that Ozempic was a weight loss drug. They had me on Ozempic, which I reluctantly took and only took for a couple of weeks, and told them I was taking it, never took it. Metformin, glipizide. For a short time, I was on insulin, and then multiple different types of pain relief because of my back pain and headaches and things I mentioned earlier. But I ended up, when I was in the hospital, following their guidelines, I had the boil, I was tachycardia, I had fever, I was septic, I had pink eye, and I ended up with Fournier's gangrene and in CCU for over a week. I was the only one on my floor at the time it was St. Francis Hospital. I was the only one in CCU that was conscious.
Wow.
And the doctors kept saying to me, we can't believe you're not on a ventilator right now. We don't know how you're not on a ventilator. Which I was on pain medication and loopy. So I was just like, oh, cool, thank you. Not realizing that they were saying is you should be fighting for your life right now, and we can't figure out why you're not. So.
Alia, who was the winner?
Ozzy Charles, congratulations. You want a t-shirt? Please email me at alia@drkiltz.com and I will get you your t-shirt.
And Hack Your Health this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be there. Sign up for our Friday evening dinner.
Yes.
Everyone's welcome. We want to build this community. Eben Marshall's brothers and sisters that already are followers on his channel, everyone's welcome. Kilt's Mighty Tribe is for free for everyone. And Dr. Nelson is sharing the message through Carnivore Coaching that everyone should become a member and become a coach. And then let's share that with the world, shall we?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Marshall, you're amazing. And yes, Doctor. Yes, Nelson.
3 p.m. I believe we have Carnivorous Grandma today, right?
Yeah.
Love Robin. Come.
Robin.
There you go. And
Rockin'
tonight we have
Robin.
Nikki in the Zoom call. Nikki Taylor.
I've got to go to surgery.
Okay.
I love you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Bye, Dr. Kiltz.
Bye.
Take
all.
care, Dr. Kills.
Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
again.
All right. Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye. all.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.